Yesterday, I shared my struggles with you as a teacher and literacy coach, but today we have solutions. When I finally figured out I couldn't read another book about theory until I sat down and actually created some hands-on practical lessons for my teachers in literacy that I'd been trained to do, everything changed. What I didn't tell you yesterday is that teachers in my building were begging me for lessons and units. They were saying things to me like, "Jen, we love your trainings. We think the theory is great, but can you write us some lessons? Can you write us some units that actually use this theory and we can put into practice in our classrooms? We trust you and we know that you'll do an incredible job." They were literally begging me for help. How could I say no? After I agreed to write lessons and units for the teachers, I dove right in. I spent the entire summer writing reading and writing lessons for daily instruction, and 4 big things happened that following fall. 1, teachers were less stressed because they had daily lessons prepared for them in advance for their kids that they knew were high quality. 2, all the students became highly engaged with the content and everyone was participating. 3, classrooms turned into well-oiled machines where differentiation was happening at the below, on, and advanced levels in every room. 4, students were developing as readers and writers and learning to think critically and share their opinions at the highest levels. I solved the problem in my building by sharing these units that I had written with my teachers. I'll never forget the feeling walking down the hallway and hearing classroom after classroom using the units that I had written over the summer, and hearing the kids actively participating and being engaged in the lessons. It was one of the best feelings in my career and I'll never forget it. And even more importantly, teachers were so much less stressed, so grateful, thankful, and knowing that they had high quality lessons for their classroom for the entire year. When I first began writing lessons, I set up a plan to make sure they were going to be of the highest quality and research-based. I came up with 4 non-negotiables that I said would be included in every single lesson that I created for literacy. The lessons would be research-based and grounded in the 10 years of college training that I had received, and that they would match all of the best theory books I had been reading for years. That the lessons would be simple for teachers to implement. That I would give enough directions and teacher-suggested language to help the lesson flow, while also saving some space for teachers to add their own voice and their own ideas into the lessons. Then I would focus on higher level thinking skills and create lessons that were highly engaging for all students, and let the lessons would be differentiated so teachers could focus on those grade level standards while still meeting students who were struggling at their ability levels and challenging their advanced readers. Once these 4 non-negotiables were put into place, everything changed. Each lesson that I created had to meet these 4 standards. If they did not meet these 4 standards, I would go back to the drawing board, consult my theory books again, and start fresh. It needed to be right, because I knew that every teacher that would share these lessons with their students was trusting me. And I believed that every student who was in a classroom using my lessons was my student too. I needed to make it right. Was it a lot of work? No doubt. While I was still a literacy coach full-time, I would come home after school, park myself at the kitchen table, tell my husband to make whatever frozen food was in the freezer, and get right to work. I would spend hundreds of hours outside of the school working on lessons for the teachers in my building, and lots of teachers I didn't even know. There were days I doubted if the time away from my kids was worth it. But every time I suggested quitting, one of my sweet littles would say, "No, Mom, it's worth it. Keep going." And they encouraged me. Since I've left the public schools to write curriculum full-time, I've spent who knows how many thousands of hours writing lessons for teachers all over the world. The results exceeded my wildest expectations. I never imagined that when I said yes to those teachers in my building, that it would turn into something this big, where I could have an impact to help tens of thousands of other teachers in using my talents and trainings to write lessons for them too. Little old me, a literacy coach from Greenville, Wisconsin, was paving a new way in literacy education, creating high quality, research-based, practical, differentiated, and engaging lessons and units for literacy instruction. Once I saw the results, I couldn't stop. I knew it was my mission and purpose to press on and continue writing these lessons for teachers and help relieve so much of the stress and problems that they were facing every day. Looking back, it all makes sense too. Teachers were looking at Basil readers and cookie cutter lessons created for one level from big publishing companies. I'm pretty sure those companies hadn't spent years teaching and receiving the training like I had. They hadn't put the time into the classrooms to see that students actually needed lessons that were differentiated, engaging, and fun. Did they know what it was like to challenge advanced readers while at the same time working with students who were struggling 2, 3, or even 4 grades below reading level? No way. I'm just like you. I've been in the classroom and I've felt those pressures. Tens of thousands of teachers have now already used the curricula that I've created. You can go to jenbengel.com and see so much feedback there. Over 60,000 teachers have taken the time to write feedback and tell me how much these lessons have relieved stress and impacted the classroom that they're working in. With that said, I feel like I'm just getting started. My mission is to get these lessons and literacy instruction into as many teachers' hands across the world as I can. The problem is that up until now, there's been this big barrier that's gotten in the way to help teachers get these lessons. But that all changes tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss this 3rd video in my 3-part series tomorrow. Check your email in the morning. I'm going to have a huge major announcement for you. I can't wait to talk to you then.